Everyone thinks Mayan scribes spent their days recording kings and gods. They were only half right. The accepted story is simple. Mayan scribes were elite record keepers. They carved glyphs into stone and bark. They documented royal lineages, astronomical cycles, conquest dates. The work was sacred, reserved for the highest born. They lived in palaces. They answered only to rulers. This is what the textbooks say. This is what we've believed for decades. The evidence supporting this view is substantial. We found stelae, carved stone monuments, in cities like Tikal and Palenque. These monuments bear the names of scribes. The glyphs themselves are intricate, mathematical. They required years of training. Only the literate few could master them. The correlation between scribble skill and social rank seemed obvious. Literacy equals power. This logic held for centuries of scholarship. But the assumption cracked when archaeologists began studying the actual work patterns. They examined tool marks on bark paper. They counted the number of scribes in a single city. They traced stylistic variations in individual hands across decades. The numbers didn't match the palace-only narrative. There were too many scribes. The hands were too diverse. The production was too high. Consider the logistics. Tikal alone may have had a population of 100,000 at its height. A single elite scribe, or even a handful, could not maintain records for an entire city-state. Tax records, land deeds, merchant inventories, ritual schedules, medical treatments. These things required documentation. Palaces couldn't be the only places where writing happened. The real picture emerges in fragments. Most Mayan scribes were not palace elites. They were skilled craftspeople, artisans, semi-professionals who lived in neighborhoods alongside potters, weavers, and stoneworkers. Some worked for merchants, some for priests. Some maintained records for their own families or clans. They were literate but not noble, respected but not royalty. A common scribe's day began before dawn. He walked from his home to the workspace, perhaps a corner of a temple courtyard or a private room rented from a merchant. He carried his tools in a fiber bag, brushes made from plant fibers, bone styluses, obsidian blades for scraping, a stone grinding pallet for pigment. His hands bore permanent stains from indigo and red ochre. The workspace itself was modest, a low wooden table, bundles of bark paper stacked in clay vessels, gourds of prepared pigment, a water source nearby, no grand library, no scribble school in the immediate vicinity. This was working space, not ceremonial space. The scribe sat cross-legged, as was custom, and began his tasks. Some days were routine, some were urgent. His first task might be copying. A merchant needed a receipt for cacao beans sold. The scribe inscribed the quantity, the date, the buyer's name. Not elaborate glyphs, efficient ones. Shorthand that other merchants could read. This was functional writing. It preserved transactions. It prevented disputes. It kept commerce flowing. Next, perhaps a ritual calendar needed updating. A priest brought a list of ceremonies for the upcoming month. The scribe consulted astronomical tables, either memorized or referenced on older documents. He calculated the correct dates. He wrote them in careful rows. This required both literacy and numeracy. His education had included mathematics. He was trusted with knowledge that affected religious life. By midday, his fingers ached. The pigment had dried into his nail beds. His back hurt from sitting. He ate a meal brought from home, maize cakes, beans, perhaps some chili. He drank water from a clay cup. He did not rest long. More work waited. A family needed a genealogical record for inheritance purposes. A healer wanted to document a treatment that had worked. This genealogical work was crucial. In a society without written laws of inheritance, memory alone was unreliable. A scribe's record could settle disputes. It could prove lineage. It could validate claims to land or position. The scribe understood this. He wrote carefully, accurately. His reputation depended on precision. A mistake could cost a family their property. Afternoon brought administrative work. A noble steward appeared with inventory lists. The scribe had to consolidate reports from multiple subordinates, crop yields, tribute collected, labor obligations fulfilled. He created summary documents that the steward could present to the noble. This was clerical work, necessary, unglamorous, essential to how the city actually functioned. He rarely carved stone. That was specialized work, reserved for monumental scribes who trained separately. His medium was bark paper. Occasionally, he might inscribe a ceramic vessel, a bowl, or a vase with a name or a date, but most of his output was perishable, fragile, designed to last a few years, perhaps a generation, not forever. This is the crucial inversion. We think of Mayan writing as monumental because the monument survived. Stone endures, bark paper decays, but the civilization was sustained by the documents that disappeared. Tax records, medical notes, personal letters, trade agreements, recipes, astronomical observations made by individual scribes, not palace astronomers. This was the actual work. This was what kept the system running. As evening approached, the scribe cleaned his workspace. He rinsed his brushes. He sealed the pigment gourds. He stacked the completed documents in a wooden chest, protected from moisture. Some would be delivered tomorrow. Some would be filed away. Some would eventually be destroyed when their purpose had passed. He walked home as the light failed. His day was ordinary, invisible to history. Yet his work was irreplaceable. Without scribes like him, the Mayan civilization could not have coordinated, could not have maintained knowledge across generations, could not have functioned as anything more than scattered villages. He was not a repository of sacred wisdom. He was infrastructure, a professional who solved practical problems with his literacy. His skill was valuable precisely because it was common enough to be useful, but rare enough to be valuable. This reframes what we mean by civilization. It was not built by elites alone. It was built by thousands of semi-skilled workers doing unglamorous, essential work. The scribe was one of them. He did not aspire to be remembered. He simply did his job. He preserved the information that kept the system alive. And when the system collapsed, when Spanish conquest and disease and social breakdown came, his documents were among the first things lost. We recover fragments now. A ceramic vessel with a scribe's name, a few surviving codices that hint at the thousands that vanished, traces of ink on stone. These remnants suggest an enormous scribble apparatus, a network of ordinary people doing extraordinary work in the shadows of history. They were the invisible foundation. Without them, there would be no Mayan civilization as we know it. Without them, there would be no memory at all. Subscribe to uncover the ordinary people who built the civilizations we thought we knew.